Welcome to FYIVT, your inside source for news and in-depth analysis on what's really happening in Vermont. We want to start by saying thank you to all our listeners and supporters. Your continued encouragement fuels our mission to dig deeper and bring light to critical issues that shape our communities. We couldn't do this without you. Today, we're diving into our article titled, "The Irony of Progress and Pragmatism." Vermont and New Hampshire, two states that share a border and natural beauty, offer a lesson in contrasts. Vermont's progressive vision emphasizes environmental leadership, social equity, and a commitment to ambitious climate goals. On paper, it's a recipe for moral and economic success. But reality often writes its own script, and Vermont's outcomes tell a different story. Let's start with the economy. Vermont has one of the highest tax burdens in the nation. From income taxes to property and sales taxes, Vermont's citizens and businesses feel the weight of funding progressive initiatives like education and environmental programs. These taxes are justified as the cost of being a leader in progress. But the results? They're less inspiring. New Hampshire, by contrast, takes a minimalist approach. No income tax, no sales tax. And the state consistently ranks as one of the best places for economic growth in the Northeast. According to a 2021 ranking, New Hampshire was 5th in the nation for economic strength. Vermont, with all its progressive ambitions, came in at 19th. Why? The answer seems clear. Businesses thrive in New Hampshire's low-tax, low-regulation environment, while Vermont's more restrictive policies stifle opportunity. And it doesn't stop there. Let's talk about Vermont's proud claim to environmental leadership. It's a state that aligns with the Paris Climate Accord, touts renewable energy, and sees itself as a pioneer in combating climate change. But here's the twist. Vermont produces more greenhouse gases per person than New Hampshire. Surprised? You're not alone. How does this happen? It all goes back to Vermont Yankee, the nuclear power plant that once provided 70% of Vermont's electricity. When Vermont Yankee closed in 2014, Vermont lost its largest source of zero-carbon energy. What replaced it? Natural gas and other fossil fuels, energy sources that increase the state's carbon footprint. Meanwhile, New Hampshire kept the Seabrook nuclear plant running, maintaining a low-emission energy profile. Let's think about that for a moment. Vermont's decision to shut down nuclear power was driven by the belief that renewables would fill the gap. But instead, the state had to rely on dirtier energy. The irony deepens when you consider that modern nuclear technology is far safer and more efficient than older plants like Vermont Yankee. Imagine what Vermont could achieve if it embraced the latest nuclear advancements. But what about education? Surely Vermont's high taxes lead to better outcomes there, right? Vermont spends more per pupil than nearly every other state, over $21,000 per student. That's significantly more than New Hampshire, which spends around $17,000 per pupil. Yet Vermont students don't perform significantly better. In fact, in areas like math and reading, New Hampshire often comes out ahead. Why is that? Vermont's fragmented education system, with its many small school districts, drives up costs without delivering proportional benefits. New Hampshire, with a more centralized approach, achieves better outcomes while spending less. Isn't that something worth emulating? Now, let's pull back and look at the bigger picture. Vermont's progressive leadership often talks about moral responsibility, about being a beacon of equity and sustainability. And yet, the state's policies often lead to results that are, well, less than inspiring. High taxes, higher emissions, and mediocre education outcomes don't exactly scream model state. And then there's New Hampshire, quietly showing what's possible with a pragmatic approach. By prioritizing low taxes, streamlined regulations, and efficient governance, New Hampshire manages to grow its economy, reduce emissions, and deliver strong education outcomes. It's not flashy. It doesn't come with global accolades or declarations of moral leadership, but it works. So why doesn't Vermont take a cue from its neighbor? Instead of looking to the UN or global frameworks for inspiration, why not look east? New Hampshire's success isn't theoretical. It's real, measurable, and achievable. It shows that you can protect the environment and grow the economy without crushing taxes and restrictive policies. The irony of Vermont's progressive vision is hard to ignore. The state aims for the stars but stumbles on the basics. Meanwhile, New Hampshire's grounded pragmatism delivers results that Vermont's leadership can only dream of. If Vermont truly wants to lead, maybe it's time to embrace what works. What's more progressive than learning from success? What's more inspiring than proving that you can balance ideals with practicality? Vermont's path isn't set in stone. There's room for change, room to rewrite the story, and room to learn from the neighbor that's doing more with less. It's a lesson worth considering for the sake of Vermont's future and the principles it claims to stand for. Freedom is the foundation of prosperity. Stay informed, stay vocal, and most importantly, stay free. Thank you for listening to this episode of FYIVT. To read the full article and explore more on what's happening in Vermont and how the state works, visit us at FYIVT.com. We appreciate your support and look forward to continuing to bring you important perspectives on Vermont's most pressing issues. Until next time.